United don't move the ball quick enough. We've spoken about the issues in midfield. I think a lot of it does stem from midfield, Rob. That's the engine of the team. It's where Manchester United can't seem to get a hold of the game, or if they do, they move the ball too slowly. What is wrong with the tempo, and what can Ollie do better to improve that?
It's got to be the coaching that's the issue. Tempo is always about coaching. If you go 9 games into the season, Haider, and your manager, after almost every game in this presser, says we have tempo issues, like this is Ole's voice saying this. We have tempo issues. We don't start quick enough. The first 20 minutes are a big problem for us. So you would probably think that Ole is going and telling the players that at Carrington, wouldn't you? You would think that that's what they are addressing. So why is whatever they're being taught reflecting in poor tempo? Well, again, in discussions with my contemporaries and stuff yesterday at Old Trafford, one of the things that we kind of came to was that maybe these guys are being asked to do too much individually. They look confused. When you've got 2 or 3 things to do really well, it's almost easier to do that than have 8 things to do badly. Yeah. So Scott McTominay is playing as a defensive midfielder, but we know that there's more expectation on him than just sitting. Now, he did just end up sitting yesterday, but if you want to kind of draw the dots and kind of make a team that is cohesive, everyone has to do their little bit. So if you've got Tellers and Delot, who are both attacking fullback, that's what they are. They're not sitting fullbacks. You need to find a system that exploits their best attributes, which is going forward. But yesterday it was quite clear that they were both told to sit, and especially Delot. Delot looked like everything I've said about Aaron Wan-Bissaka all season long, I take it back. And the reason why I take it back is that even though Aaron is learning and there's problems on the front foot and there's problems on the back foot and there's issues with his whole all-round game, Diogo Dalot cannot play in this Man United team. He's not good enough.
In a flat back 4. I'm going to say that, Rob. In a
flat back 4, if he's playing as a wing back, he's probably a lot happier. So Ole started with a system that does not allow his back 4 to kind of do their best work. I would say Rafael Varane yesterday, it was the first game where we really saw him step out with the ball on that left-hand side of the centre-backs. And he was able to do that because Lindelof just did the Lindelof job. So Lindelof this is the job he did with Maguire. No kind of airs and graces about it. Quite easy for him. But the shape of the back 4 was that they were relatively deep and Manchester United had no protection in front of them, no double pivot. So that became a problem because then Bruno spent the whole of the second half having to come 40 yards backwards to come and get a ball to turn on it in safe zones and then try and get the ball forward. And what you also saw there in terms of shape was that Jadon Sancho and Mason Greenwood, who come alive on the edge of the box, that's their game, started getting the ball in what would be traditional winger positions, almost on the touchline, really, really wide, and then having nowhere to go because there's no midfield on the inside. So like we just said there, what's the problem? The problem 100% are the tactics. If you've got a set of players, find a set of tactics that suit the players rather than trying to change the players into a set of tactics that just don't work.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rob. There's a comment here about substitutions. We have discussed substitutions, and it's saying, no subs have more goal contributions than United since last season. United have more than double than the next team. 0 in-game management. Absolutely not 0 in-game management. I think Ollie's substitutions did win the game yesterday. I think that's very fair to say. I think where I'm a bit puzzled, Rob, is that usually the setup is wrong and it is the manager's job to change it. And it's almost like we're praising Ollie for for correcting what he got wrong in the first place. Does that kind of make sense? I think there's plenty of times where, yes, he's changed it. He's got quality on the bench. I think the right thing he did when Cavani came on, I was thinking, right choice. Why? Because you needed someone to harry a bit more, to provide more energy up top. When you brought Lingard on, I thought right choice. Fred, I was a bit puzzled, but Fred went and got the cross that came in. Do you not think that every time, let's say, Ollie is making a decision and it turns into a win, everyone's praising him, saying, well done. But at the end of the day, Rob, that's your job as a manager of Manchester United. You need to make changes. If you're getting the system wrong in the first place and you're making the changes, in my opinion, you shouldn't really be praised for that, because I think that's like you've made the mistake and then you rectify it. Maybe you need to not make the mistake in the beginning and put out the right side and make sure the tactics are correct in the first place.
Even if your team plays badly because you've set up wrong or something like that, if you're the guy that changes stuff and you get the win out of it, and there's a kind of positive affirmation from that because that's what the manager has decided, fantastic, well done. I'm always going to pat the manager on the back there. However, when you look at yesterday, those substitutes came on. They helped United win the game, get them back, and obviously, find a way. But there was no positive effect on the system. Those substitutes did not change the system. And this is what I'm talking about. So again, you look at it and you're thinking about who came off and who he pulled. Like again, you can almost predict these things, Haider, from the sidelines, and it's painful. So you knew he was going to pull Jadon Sancho. You knew it. He's going to do the same things every time. Cavani comes on.
Rob, I thought Sancho had a good game. I
thought Sancho played all right. I think he played all right. But again, United getting the ball to him in really poor situations. So it's hard for forwards to do it there. If they're picking the ball up really wide and having to go on the outside every time, they can't come on the inside and they haven't got support. So like I just showed there, my system, they're showing it Sancho and Pogba. Sancho and Pogba were quite far apart most of the time. It wasn't like they were doubling up or trying to kind of go 2-on-1 with a player on that side. So I thought Jadon Sancho played okay. But I think when you get to those final moments and you're trying to change stuff, Cavani came on, went straight through the middle. Ronaldo went to the left. There was one play. Ronaldo went, "Oi, Ederson, you're going left now. I'm going through the middle." You saw that with your own eyes in front of them. That was Ronaldo making that choice. Ronaldo went back through the middle. Cavani then goes wide left, and it's like there's no one helping him. It's only in that moment when they score the goal that it's because of his strength. So he harries that. He gets the ball back, and then United play one or two passes, and Fred, lobs a ball into the box from left back. It wasn't the greatest cross ever, and United fashion the goal, don't they? Ronaldo nods it down. Lingard does really well, and Ronaldo finishes really well. So that's great, but I would not sit here today and say, yeah, those substitutes changed the flow of the match, because I don't think it really did. Villarreal, even in the final minute or two, were trying to get another goal. They weren't scared and sitting back. They took their striker off in the 61st minute, and we said, they're going to sit now. They're going to go deep. Yeah, they're going to stay 1-0 up. They're going to go deep. They didn't. They played the ball better than Man United did for the next half an hour. And there were times when obviously David De Gea made saves. Even I think the 88th minute, 87th minute, De Gea makes that double save where he parries it out and then the ball comes and his hands on the ground and he just keeps it out. And that kept the score at 1-1. And then 2, 3, 4 minutes later, United are at the other end of the pitch. They score the goal. I think the reoccurring issue here, Haider, and the reoccurring theme is that Manchester United cannot find a tactic that works anywhere across the pitch. And if we were sat here saying, yes, but this works, and this works, but these other two things do not work, I'm all right with that, because it's then just about getting results. I'm looking at 10 things at the moment, and nothing is working. Nothing is working. The forwards are not working. The wide players are not working. The fullbacks are not working. The centre-backs are having trouble. There's probably only
the midfield isn't working.
One person, I would say at the moment, is really living up to his expectation, and that's the goalkeeper. So David De Gea has got no worries about Dean Henderson at the moment because he's playing so well. Dean Henderson's not getting a sniff. So David starts games, and he deserves it because he's earned it. But you look at the rest of the pitch, it doesn't feel like to me that there are individual players failing. It feels like a systematic failure. So I look at Delot. I think, Delot's not a great defender. Maybe not play a flat back four. Maybe let Delot go up the pitch. So when Delot does get on his bike and goes in the other direction, he sometimes looks okay. But yesterday, he literally was running backwards the whole match. And Villarreal were like, we love this. This is brilliant. We're going to run down that space because United can't cover. They've got no midfield. Scott McTominay's left on his own. It was a risk for Ole to drop Fred and drop the whole McFred thing yesterday. But I think if we'd played McFred and played a 4-2-3-1, I think United would have been more controlled. I think that it had better chances in the final third with the front four being more visceral, moving around in between and interchanging. And you then would have had a midfield solid base that just wasn't there. And in the first half, Haider, we were sat there, some very blue words coming out of our mouths saying, how are Villarreal going from centre-back to centre-forward in 4 seconds with no challenging at all? And it was worrying and it was shocking in the moment, but in retrospect, it doesn't shock me at all because we've seen this kind of thing all season long.